up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Lauren Khalil. Lauren, we haven't seen you in a while. How was Poland?
I know it has been a while. Poland was amazing. If it's not in people's top lists of places to explore in Europe, I think that they need to update their list because Poland was beautiful, and the hospitality with everybody, the pierogies, the kielbasa. I mean, I had a great little food tour while I was there. So
nice.
It was wonderful.
What city were you in?
Krakow, about an hour outside of there.
Is that the capital?
Did you hear it? Oh yeah, I don't know.
I should know that.
That's like a fun sounding city name.
Yeah,
like Krakow.
There's an old Calvin and Hobbes. There's an old Calvin and Hobbes comic strip with that word in it when he was Spaceman Spiff, and that was a good one. All right, well today we're talking to Pat Vellner. We'll get to that in a second. But Tommy, how you doing? How's the construction business?
It's moving along. We've hit some good milestones, and I've spent, I guess the one thing they don't tell you about when you get property is water management, water and soil management. So like, as much as we have spent time foundation being poured, which is done, we got a foundation in, we have spent time on a retaining wall and drainage for all around the property. I've probably spent 3x the amount of time on drainage and retaining wall as we have actually on the house.
Is that something that you had? Are you like on budget for that or not?
Yeah. Well, so we had baked in some fluff, right? So assuming that there would be some places where we would need to spend more, and then the retaining wall, we extended the retaining wall by like almost 40%. So that was like a known expenditure that we were like went into, like, okay, we should actually extend this. All right, it's going to cost this. Okay, cool. So we're on budget.
All right, good.
That's a long way of saying that.
All right, no, that's perfect. Like, yeah, as long as it's all adding, as long as the math is mathing, that's all that matters. So,
and I'll say this: who needs coffee in the morning when you've got pipe glue?
Right. Is that cheaper?
Oh God, that's terrible.
We're gluing some pipe and some primer, like the primer for it, and I was like, "Ooh,
that'll wake you up in the morning." Nice. All right. Well, there you go. If you
wouldn't recommend it though.
If you don't have some caffeine in the morning, just stop by the old Ace Hardware and grab yourself some pipe glue and turpentine or whatever it is you got on there.
I think that's why it says like must be over 18 and you need to show a license.
More or less.
To get it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 21. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, today we're talking to Pat Vellner, who's coming off his second straight appearance at the TYR Cup. He had a lot of good stuff to talk about. But before we get to any of that, we have to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Thirdzy and their Rest and Recovery Collagen, which is the greatest stuff ever made as far as liquid beverage is concerned that makes you sleep and recover better. And they got a new flavor coming. Have you got the new flavor yet?
Oh,
just got it in yesterday.
Is good.
So I haven't tried it yet.
Is good.
We're going to do a little test run tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it is the I don't know that I can ever go back now. I'm just gonna lean into this one.
I'm flip flopping. So they have a new chocolate caramel, chocolate salted caramel, and then they have their regular flavor, which is fantastic. Love them both, but I'm like, I have to rotate back and forth. That's really just how I have to do it.
I think I'm gonna have a summer drink and then a winter drink. And Sean, don't worry, I won't let them cross into too early of seasons.
Okay, put a pin in that. But if you want to go to Thirdzy.com and check out their Rest and Recovery Collagen, put in our code TEF, you're going to save 20%. You're going to sleep better. You're going to recover better. It has GABA, L-theanine, magnesium, ingredients that are designed to calm your central nervous system. Doesn't make you drowsy because there's no melatonin in it. So you can take it any time of the day. It just kind of calms you down. And you get to sleep faster, you stay asleep longer, and you feel better when you wake up. It's Thirdzy.com. Code is TEF. You will save 20%. And you're going to feel like $1 million when you wake up in the morning, especially if you're a regular human being who gets between 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. You're cooking with gas if you're doing that. If you're me and you're not getting that much, Thirdzy's going to help you just feel like a normal human being when you wake up, which is A-okay by me. All right. Then the new flavor, chocolate salted caramel. Delish. All right. Before we get to Pat Vellner, Lauren, I've been wanting to tell you this. I broke the pumpkin spice latte seal the other day. I had my first one.
Okay.
It was cold and cloudy, and I get them half sweet. And of course I had to send, there's a great meme. Of course, this was me at Starbucks. I wrote down pumpkin spice latte on a piece of paper and I slid it I went, I'd like a black coffee, please. And I just slid in the paper. And he looked at me and went, black coffee.
My God. No, Tommy, why didn't you coordinate filming him do that? I needed to see that.
No, I did it. It was a nice fall day. It was a little crispy. I went, you know what? I was walking around campus. I was like, I'm going to go get me a pumpkin spice latte. It's time. It's time to do it. So I've done it. So now
That's
have
hilarious.
at it, everybody. It's officially pumpkin spice latte season.
Sean broke the seal. We'd love to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a secret handshake when you say black coffee.
Yeah.
Just like
I was robbing a bank. Just slid it. I'll have a black coffee, please.
What's that sticking through your shirt?
Yeah. Just read the sign, but I'll have a black coffee. Yeah.
No sudden movements.
No, they got protein beverages in there now too. They have like protein.
Dude, I just heard about
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So damn it.
The chocolate one tastes like chocolate milk.
Does it?
Can confirm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had the vanilla one, I think. But anyway, yep. So I wanted to tell you, I should have taken a picture and sent it to you, but I think you were still overseas. So I don't want, but anyway, it happened. I admit it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed. It was good. All right. So
I'm proud of you, Sean.
thank you. I really, really appreciate
Welcome to fall, y'all.
Yes. It's been a little crispy. I was out raking leaves today too. It definitely felt like fall. Okay. Let's get into our conversation. Well, really Lauren and Tommy's conversation with Pat Vellner. Good old Uncle Pat. Always a pleasure to have him on. He talked about his experience at the TYR Cup for the second straight year, managing the season and how it's kind of crazy right now, and kind of coming to the end of what has been a really incredible career. So always a pleasure to hear from Pat Vellner. We were so thankful to have him on. So here is Lauren and Tommy's conversation with good old Uncle Pat.
Joining us now, our guest for this week, fresh off looks like a pretty good garage gym sesh. It is none other than the man himself, Patrick Vellner. Pat, how you doing? How was the workout? Hopefully, we're not interrupting nap time.
Not yet, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see what Ethan has to say about it. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
No complaints. Lauren just got back from Poland, so she's maybe in another time zone. But
all right, you might be more tired than me.
Yeah, but
I don't know. You got two kids running around. You might be more tired than me. My dogs don't wake me up in the middle of the night.
Well, the boys are not too bad for that lately. Ethan's been a little sick for a while. He was sick in California, and he's been he had like 5 good days when we got back, and then he's back in it again. So I know I'm just doing my best to dodge it and try to get some training in for Rogue and stay healthy.
Has it gone around the whole house?
Honestly, I've been hit a little bit. I wasn't great in California, and then I've had some bouts of some diarrhea and whatever, a little bit of nausea and stuff like that. It's not terrible. I can still function. You're just kind of you feel you just feel bloated and bad. Mm-hmm. But Michelle has dodged it completely. I don't know what she's doing, but I'm it's all over me. And I mean, I'm also home with the kids a little bit more. I do the morning shuffle and things because she's out of the house working, whereas I'm working at the house a lot of the time. So I think my exposure is a little higher maybe, but she's been skating through it. I don't know, but the rest of us have been hit a little bit. So
well there's some irony in that.
You can get it next.
Yeah, especially because you're the one. I mean, physically, the performance aspect of it is a little bit more demanding. But I mean, I don't know. Is she hiding Z-Packs in the closet to keep herself on the up and up? But
I mean, she's also she's a doctor that works in the hospital. Her general hygiene around probably coming and going and stuff like that. She's pretty on top of it. I think protocols are protocols. Whereas, I'm in the garage. And again, I'm just I'm carrying the kids around in the mornings and doing the feedings and they're coughing in my face a little more than they are to her. A lot of mornings she's gone before the kids really get up. So I don't know. But for sure in California, when I was competing, she was holding Ethan that whole weekend. And I don't know how she didn't get sick there. She was full time, all day, all night. And somehow she avoided it. So it could be
She's got
maybe
that
just
good
from,
immune system.
yeah, I don't know. And maybe that is because she's in the hospital all the time. I don't know, but she's doing something right for sure. Or yeah,
Yeah.
she's hiding the good stuff and she's just keeping herself all jacked up.
Yeah. Oh, if you can find a way to bottle it and sell it, you guys will be billionaires. So that's always that's always the case. But the lot we want to touch on. You just mentioned California. Let's start with that. Fresh off the TYR Cup just a couple of weeks ago. Your second time competing in this event. Got to be the captain. North America brought home a dub. I would say let's start with the kind of initial recap on your end in terms of year 2 versus year 1. Any lessons learned? Any interesting approaches? Some differences in the competition format and things that you felt went well for the team?
I mean, we were in a bit of a different position this year than last year. I would say, I don't know what the consensus was prior to, but I felt like North America was sort of the underdog this year compared to last year. I think last year was like we didn't have the best performance, but it was, we were just the team, like, don't be the guys that were supposed to win and then like mess it up at the goal line. Like you just had to kind of like place some pieces in the right place, and we should win. Like, let's not be so sure we're going to win that we don't, but let's just like go in, do the thing. And if everything goes okay, a mid-level performance by that group of athletes should win. Whereas this year felt like a little bit the opposite. Like it could go either way. Even, looking at the athletes post games, I think even like myself was a bit of a wild card that people are like, I don't know exactly where Pat's at. We had some really like young women on our team. Like there was a little bit of like unknowns. Alexis had been having some health stuff for this season that I think people weren't sure because they hadn't seen her compete a full weekend really yet, other than maybe the games. So like we just had a few things that I think made it feel a little bit wobbly. And then I think, there's some stuff that over the course of the weekend, like the shooting event is the one to me that stood out as just like those points. You never know how those things are going to go when it's such a new thing for both teams. It's hard to predict. So you have to look at it and be like, as a strategy, say like, hey, I hope we get a split. Like if we can just split that and go 1-1, let's see how the whole weekend shapes out. So to lose 2 points there at the start, and you're kind of like, now we got to play catch up all weekend. Because, you look at the weekend of that this year, I think the format was really nice. And they, what they did with points to force teams to continue to complete a lot of the volume. So you couldn't just back out and play for the next point, because there's tight turnarounds between a lot of events. And if you're allowed to just stop, you gain a huge advantage for the next round, which sometimes the turnarounds, like I think the tightest we had was like 7 minutes or something. Like it's fast. And those workouts they're hard. Like, so to turn something around in 7 minutes and try to go again is really hard. So eliminating that was really nice. But then you look at the weekend and you're trying to decide, okay, these points are winnable, I think, for us. These points are probably not winnable for us. These points are the ones that could go either way. And those are the ones that you have to like plan for. So when we lost those 2 shooting events, it was like it changed the landscape of the weekend a lot. And like a few of those wild card events were like, now we really have to win some points that are going to be hard to win. But it was cool. It was fun to see, of course I would say this, but there's something really fun about coming from behind and like taking over at the end of a weekend.
Yeah.
I think that momentum swing, the way we had it from like Saturday evening into Sunday and just like built. And we could see at the start, like they're having a blast. They think they've locked this up. Like after the shooting, when it's like 3-1 or something like that, they're like, oh, this is like no problem. Or it was after the weightlifting. They're like, we're already running away with this. And then watching those smiles slowly fade, and then watching the doubt set in, and then watching Saturday or Sunday on the beach when we beat them on the beach for like our 3rd win in a row. And they're just like, it's slipping through their fingers. And you're like, that momentum shift is fun. And it's cool. I think it was a cool weekend to have like a big swing like that, where it couldn't have gone much better, I don't think, from a storytelling perspective, where the race was pretty close all weekend. Like, critical points were won and lost. And then at the end, it like came down to the captain's challenge again, which was nice. And And I think that's a fun way to win it too. Like last year we played a strategy to try to win before the captain's challenge, so it didn't matter, which is like from a spectator standpoint a little bit anticlimactic, but as one of the captains, it's kind of nice to walk out there and be like, I know I'm good.
Yeah.
And last year, in order to do that, we had to play Danielle and I on the event right before the captain's challenge. So you're the guy who has to do the tight turnaround and then go into like the most important workout of the weekend, just bag.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. Whereas this year we had to do a different thing and go into the captain's challenge knowing we had to win some points. And then so to be able to pull points off Tia and Ricky on the last event and just kind of finish that momentum swing was really cool. So that's the way you want to win a weekend, is to win out. You don't want to like win, and then lose the last couple, but still win the weekend. So it was fun. I mean, it was great. I had a blast doing that with we had, I think, 5 returning members and 3 new members on our team. And even World had a bunch of new people this year. So it was cool to just see the turnover and see how even the community side, like a lot of it, just the event basically doubled from last year and see just how it's picked up steam. And I think it's cool. Like I think I've been thinking a bunch about not just TYR Cup, but like WFP is the same. Rogue is kind of the same. They get talked about like this. The word exhibition keeps getting put out, and everyone's like, it's more of an exhibition. It's an exhibition, and like it's funny to be behind the scenes with everybody and feel just how much of an exhibition it feels like, because it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Like nobody's out there trying to lose. And you're like, I'm on like Sunday. I remember being like, I was so stressed, and I was like talking to my wife a bit about just like, there's a different level of stakes in teams where you're kind of like, all right, I know the plan. Like we've already talked about it. We put the pieces where they have to go. And then you're watching everybody play their role and do their job. And if everything's going well, you're like, great. Now it's my turn to step in and like, these guys did their job, and now I got to do my job, and I got to be sharp, and I have to do it because it's not just for me, it's for everybody. And so it's cool. Like you feel the weight of the team when things go well or badly. And so that stuff's really fun. And like all those competitions, like, WFP was funny. Like that event we did in Mesa that ended with the Echo Bike. Like watching the way people finish with that Echo Bike, like watching what James and Dallin and like myself did on that. I'm like, that shit wasn't exhibition at all.
Yeah.
I was like, that wasn't like, what are we talking about? It's like, no, everybody is pushing like with what they have. Now the prep might look different, which is for sure the case when you're juggling so many competitions. You have to weigh things slightly differently. Like your prep phase might look a little different, but you compete with everything you brought to that weekend. And like the team stuff is the same. It's all the same. Like, so that was super fun at TYR Cup, just to be like, looking at each other like on the last day, like we got to do it now, right? Like it's those last things. Putting Dallin out on that Echo Bike run or workout again.
Oh,
that poor boy.
So fun to watch. So fun to watch. Could you guys, as teammates of him, feel the giddiness that maybe the fans and the people watching in real life were feeling as we saw the hurt just overtake his body?
It's like, I don't know if we feel it more than everybody else. There maybe, I don't know. Cause I mean, like, I know what that feels like. And I probably know what it feels like more than most people. And it's not great. And so when you have someone like him do that last year and say like, that's probably the worst workout the worst I've ever felt in a workout. And like for the 30 minutes afterwards, and then have it come back. Like when we talked about it at the start of the weekend or when they announced it, he just kind of said, look, I know I'm probably going to do this, but I don't want to talk about it until we have to talk about it. So
was
like,
there anybody
even
else
in the strategy
to do it?
Yeah. I mean, it was like, but probably between him and Jason. And like, I could have done it for the men's side. It probably priority was Dallin, Jason, me and Jason maybe were interchangeable. But because I had to do the captain's challenge right after, it kind of pulled me out of the running at all. Yeah. And then Justin probably was the lowest, mostly just because of bike output. Like I think you win and lose biggest on the bike. Next biggest is probably the burpees. And then the least is probably the run. Mm-hmm. So the run matters because if you're a really great runner, it just costs less. And I think that's what we saw last year in the reverse order is like Dallin was so good on the bike that Brent and Dallin finished at the same time, like 34 seconds or something, but it cost Dallin less than it cost Brent. So then in the burpees, he was able to put a few seconds into Brent. And then on the run, he beat Brent on a 500-meter run, which like you wouldn't expect. But it's just at that point with the cumulative lactic effort, it was just like, that's what you had. And talking to Dallin this year, he said that this one was actually worse than last year's, which I don't think we expected. But after you think about it, we were like, I get it. Like, I think when you're bagged on a run, you kind of like, you're slowed down a little bit and you're just heavy. But when you're like digging on a bike and you feel that bonk, like if you've ever been trying to sprint and then you feel that bonk where you really power down and then you're just digging a deficit, like digging a hole. And when you're there with like 20 calories left and you're digging like that for like 40 seconds, that's why like afterwards he was like crushed. And for Dallin to do a 50 cal bike in like 1 minute, that's slow. Like that's really slow. And then he was mangled for like an hour.
I tried to interview him after and there was no way I could do it. So I was like, okay, Jason, you're going to be his spokesperson.
I thought the mental part was going to be way worse too, right? Because you know how it feels this time, like at least for that like order, and it's a little bit different. I always like liken it to like the first time you row a 500 meters on the row or all out. Like the first time is almost going to be your best effort because there's no mental, like
you don't block yourself.
Yeah, you don't block yourself because you don't have the memory.
I think it was funny because it was slightly different. He was like, I didn't expect it to be that bad, but by the time you get to the bike, I think in his head he's like, I just have to sprint as hard as I can and I'll be done in about 30 seconds. And then but you're coming in with like your power's already been sucked out. So you're coming in with a half a tank. And then he's like, all of a sudden I finish my sprint where I'm not even really looking. And then I look at it and I'm halfway there. And you're
he's like the rest of us then.
And then you're just like digging in. And it's like the reality sets in of how bad it is. But it was like, I mean, it's fun. I think it's fun for us because we know, like, I have an idea what that feels like. And I mean, Dallin can probably dig himself a deeper hole than I can, but it's impressive to see. I mean, I think it's funny to watch them do that. And I'm sure Jason was thrilled to not have to do it. And then, I think for us, it was just in that workout, I think Dallin was slightly better than Jason on the burpees and Jason's better on the run. We thought burpees were probably more valuable. And as long as Jason was like able to do the squat workout fine, then Dallin was on the bike and it was easy. And that was where, like, I think in that weekend, we had a bit of a strategic advantage over the world team just because of our depth. I think that they had that front squat workout was like a big fitness workout. And their women beat ours. And then we were kind of like, we needed to beat their men and then win in the monostructural in order to have the advantage going into the final, where you had to only win like one of the 2 points in order to guarantee at least a tie. But I think they initially set their roster as Roman doing the squat workout and then also doing the monostructural test, which is just like, and Amy did it. Like Amy did both. Yeah. So they had both of their athletes initially on their call doing those 2 workouts back to back, which is brutal. Yeah. Like your legs took a kicking on the front squat. And I think like Amy crushed it given the situation, but also the women had gone first on the squat. So they got to rest while the men did the squat and then the monostructural started. So they got like 20 minutes extra rest, which honestly, like before that is still going to hurt you. But that's why when Roman got off the squat, they were like, he's not going to do it. So they put Guy in, and which like good for Guy for like, that's a tough tap to get for a coach to come in behind you and be like, you're going in on the monostructural challenge. And maybe you're right, Tommy, that it's better than dreaming about it for the last 2 days. But I think that was one where we were like, we can set these 3 men out and then still have good options. Like whether Dallin went in on the squat or Jason, either one of them was a good option on the monostructural. So I think we were like confident we could dress a good roster for both of those workouts back to back, whereas they were almost going to have to pick their point. And so they played for the squat point, putting their 3, like I think strongest overall fitness guys in on that. And then we still took the point off of them. So then we had the advantage going into the monostructural, which kind of like set the stage for the end of the weekend. But those are like the fun things about that competition, where it's like, it matters where you play the pieces. And I think we had a little bit of a strategic advantage, maybe because we had more returning members on our team, that we were really familiar with what those tight turnarounds are like.
Yeah.
So when it comes time at the beginning of the weekend to like make a rough image of how players are going to sit, we know it's like, oh, if these 3 workouts on Saturday look great for you on paper, like pick 2, because you're not going to do 3. And like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, you're not going to be good on the last one. So, maybe bookend it, do the first and the last and get a rest, but those sorts of things just matter a lot. And I think, you have to learn that by doing it a little bit. Like, we're all familiar with, I did like 3 pretty hard conditioning pieces today, and you're kind of like, well, I could do that in competition. Sure. But it's not the same. It's not the same when when Ricky's hunting you and things like that, like that you push a little harder, right? Like, it's different. Competition's different. So that was a super fun weekend. Like I said, I'm happy that I was useful. I feel like I wasn't sure. I was good in Mesa at least, but I didn't do as much competing at the start of this year. And I think it's like, obviously there's guys like James who didn't make it onto the roster, and Austin Hadfield who've had great years. And you're like, last thing I want to do is show up and be a liability. So I'm glad I was at least a useful tool in the whole thing. So it was reassuring and it was fun. And I think SoCal's cool. So it'd be fun to go do it again another time, but got to earn it again next year.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully whoever goes for North America can take it again.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like you were instantly useful when you mentioned that, the early hole that you guys dug. And I don't know, was there a sense of like everyone being like, oh crap, what did he do? And you're like, guys, we got him right where I want him.
That's right.
Let Papa Pat, let Uncle Pat take it from here, fellas.
It's the worst lead in CrossFit.
Yeah.
No, I think Justin was the first one to make that comment, actually, that he's like, and it was like on the floor in an interview, maybe on Saturday, but he's like, oh yeah, like, we're not worried. We got Pat on our team. It's like, this is we've seen this one before. This is going to be fine. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think that whole maybe I'm a calming presence under the fire, but I think that it was good to see how people work together. It's also the cool part about that competition is you get to utilize people's strengths. Like, I talked a bunch with Justin before that Echo on Fran workout, and we're like, the best thing about this, I did that workout as an individual at Wodapalooza in 2022. And it was like one of the top 5 worst workouts I've ever done. Worst I felt after a workout, for sure. And like,
wow,
I could have done that same effort again, but I didn't have to. And like, because I have Dallin and Jason on my team. So when they start to pull away, I don't have to panic and hit the throttle. I get to just go like, nice, guys, go get them. Keep going. And then, you stay ahead of the people you need to stay ahead of. But it's like, there's a different type of awareness. And I mean, in that one, our women went first. And I think had the guys gone first, I would have looked a lot like what Alexis looked like, where I think she was that crucial third player who, like, this isn't my wheelhouse, but if I really push it, I can steal a point over one of the world people and stack the placings for us. And then it like, when that was set, we knew what the points were from the women's side going into the men's side, and it was only 1 point. So we were like, oh, as long as Dallin and Jason both take a top 3, me and like Justin's just like, I just don't have to come last and I have to kind of come somewhere in the middle, and then we're fine, which takes a little bit of the pressure off, and you don't need to bury your head into the ground so bad that you're like non-functional for the rest of the day. But unfortunately, Alexis didn't have that luxury. So we got to ride off her heroic effort and take that point. But and then she was, unfortunately, I think, our best shooter on the women's side. And so we paid for it on the next workout because we had to sub her out because she was not doing well. She was what I looked like in 2022. Except I got to just finish the day like that, and I didn't have to do any more competing for the rest of the day.
You talk about how you want to make sure people know that like this is not a showcase between like the other competitions throughout the year. But now that we're almost to the end of the year. You seem like you genuinely enjoy doing SoCal, doing WFP, doing the game season. You have all of these things. In hindsight, moving into 2026, do you feel though that you have competed too much and you want to dial it back? Or where's like the mind around, okay, what is a realistic amount to go full throttle in one calendar year?
I don't know. I think that you have to just be constantly assessing that. And I think the answer is different for everybody. Like, I just don't think there's a way to know. I think there's also a world where if everything goes really well all the way along the ride, you don't feel the impact of it quite as bad. Like, I think the way your momentum goes makes a difference. If you're going out there and you're just taking hits and you're whatever that means to you, like, oh, I came fourth 3 competitions in a row and like I'm just missing podiums, like that can frustrate you and then you feel deflated and whatever. So I think there's a version where you compete a ton and you just feel great and it's fun and you feel alive because you're just on fire. And so it might just depend. I think you just have to kind of assess it in real time. I'm looking at next year. Like, I haven't really, there's enough of this year left that I don't think I need to look at next year yet. Like, there's a couple of really big ones, arguably 2 of the biggest ones left in the year. So, I'm going to set up and do that stuff as good as I can. And then once we have the dates too, for like what the games looks like, what the game season is, what the WFP season looks like, where those other like Wodapalooza's Rogues, where that stuff all sits, and you can overlay everything, maybe make some decisions about what it looks like. And if people are going to do a lot of stuff again next year, I'm sure that there's a version of it where you pick. And like, if WFP is doing, if they add a couple stops, 1 or 2 stops this year, like maybe you go, all right, I'm going to do 3 of those stops and accept the points hit on the overall and gamble that I'm still going to have enough points to go to the final, or that like pretty much everybody is going to pick 3. I don't even know what they're going to do. There's a version where they could say they take the points of your 3 best performances. So you could go to 4 to try to amplify your score, but you only get your best 3 points total. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to make that season fit. And then you just go to the other stuff and prioritize things however you want. I think it's hard to keep yourself at like your ultimate level for 12 months of the year. So just like how in the past, going back 7 years, if you were an athlete trying to make it to the games for the first time, you had to be your best self at regionals. Like, that was your peak. And then if you made it to the games, you had to figure out a way to try to like hold that level or do a little block to just like get yourself playing with new things, other things, try something, and then just figure it out when you get there. And then the next year, maybe if you're a little more confident that making it is a more sure thing, it's like a mini peak, and then you do your bigger peak for the games to try to perform your best there. But that's what the season looks like, is maybe you go, okay, I'm going to look at doing like, I have different levels of peak, like my level 1, level 2, level 3. And like, I save my level 1s for like maybe CrossFit games, maybe Rogue, maybe WFP finals. And then I do level 2s at like Wodapalooza and whatever, pick one of the WFPs that you want to like maximize points at. And then like you go level 3 for everything else, which is like slightly above general training. Just like I've been doing a little more conditioning. And I don't know, I think and then if you feel like you're just burnt out, maybe you just have to make a call on one somewhere along the way and say like, hey, I need a little more time. And then you deload and you do whatever you need to do. But I don't know. I think we're learning as we go. And I think that I think part of that just has to be up to the athletes. I don't think it's a bad thing to have more opportunities. I think that that's what I want. I think that's what a lot of people want. And then at the end of the day, that's just what it is. It's up to the athlete. At least there are options. And then it's up to you. Take it, don't take it, do whatever. And then if you don't want to go, like if I don't want to go to one of the Wodapalooza this year, for example, I don't know, then there's a lot of other athletes, those spots fill. Like there's a lot of other athletes who then get to go experience that competition floor, get experience, do whatever. Like, I don't think we have a shortage of like really good athletes competing. So now there's just more stages, more opportunities to compete against other elite competition, hone your craft. Even in a version where like, WFP, like maybe 5 pretty big names don't go to one of them. Like that means that there's 5 new guys coming out of the challenger division into the pro division who get to compete against Jason and Dallin and James and feel that heat. And like, that's how you get good. Like years ago, you got one chance to do that at regionals against like maybe 2 heavy hitters. And then that was it if you didn't make it. But now you maybe got more times to do that, which is cool. Like, I think that's how you learn. That's how you get better. Like, we sometimes get asked about like, oh, what is your advice for, a mid-range competitor of how to get good? And I remember when I was first trying to like figure out what the level was, you watch regionals, you watch the scores, you try to do the workouts, you try to see like, okay, how fast is that? Like, oh shit, that's 3 minutes faster than I went. Like, now I kind of see how fast are these guys rowing? How fast are these guys biking? Like, what's the pace of this if I want to be at that level? And that's just how you have to do it. Like, do a little homework, and then it's like there's no better education than you get in the trenches. So when you're in there and then you feel it, and then you're like, oh yeah, I feel like when I'm next to Jason and that bike gets humming, like, oh, okay, like I know what that feels like. And so I don't know. There's just like there's no better teacher than experience. So I think that this is just going to give a lot of people experience. And then we'll see. Hopefully some of this stuff sticks around for a long time. And I mean, I don't know. I think at this point, there's just so much going on, even with like the CrossFit selling. Like, I just think that it's really hard to make plans far in the future. And so you just kind of have to do your best, train, try to get stronger, try to get fitter, and then show up and compete when you have the chance. And, do your best with what you have, decide where you're going to focus, and then show up with what you got. And then, try to compete with whatever you have at that event. Like, if you decide to put all your eggs in on one, send it there. And then if you decide to kind of do a 90% peak for one, like when you show up, like everybody's trying as hard as they can with what they brought to that competition. Like, there's no doubt. Nobody's going there unless you're like winning by a minute, then obviously you turn down the jets a little. But like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody there not tired at the finish line because they just stopped trying. Like, it's, most people who make it to that level, they're putting everything they can out there when they get the chance. So that's the name of the game. And just try to be just a little faster than the other guy.
And touching on circling back to something that you said, and kind of touching on the showing up with what you got, I'm intrigued by this, like maybe figuring out these different levels to your peak, and figuring out what you can kind of manage it therein. And I was kind of looking back at your 2 performances from the both of the WFP tour stops. So obviously tour stop 1 doesn't go great. It's I think you're 23rd there in Indianapolis. You come back in Mesa, and the rumors of your demise were greatly exaggerated, and you finish on the podium, and you have like a really nice, what I would say, kind of bounce back. And looking at those 2 events in particular and your prep and what you brought to the table and that, where were the big differences? What was the gap between the 23rd and a 3rd place finish in those 2 events?
I mean, I think part of it is a little bit of after Wadapalooza in January, whatever that was, my body was not in good shape, and I needed to not do some stuff for a little while in order to take care of that. Mostly my knee was like quite bad. It was pretty bad leading into the 24 games. And then honestly, I don't know. I don't want to like blame Chad, but I feel like a lot of the prep for that and a lot of the impact of like the step ups didn't help it a ton. And then following that, I was kind of like, I white knuckled it through the competition. And then you just kind of, I couldn't really squat after that for basically until SoCal. I actually got to SoCal and tried to actively avoid any workouts with squatting, which I could do because it's a team thing, except for the captain's challenge, which we had to squat in. And those were like the first squats I did in a long time. And then, we had Rogue, which had like all the heavy squatting in it. And I just like, I couldn't quite get right. And I had decided to do Wadapalooza. And after that, I was just like, I'm not getting better. Like this, like 3 weeks of like, come down, try to recover. Maybe that would cut it 4 years ago, but like my body just can't do that anymore. So I just was like, I need to take some time. And so because I wasn't doing the game season, I was able to do that, which is nice. I didn't have to worry about the open or things like that. So I took a bunch of time before Indy to not do any real knee bending anything and do a lot of knee rehab, which it turns out going into competition, my legs were not conditioned at all. So I was like crushed after the very first day. Like that first running event, I finished the running event and my like quads were cramping. And I was just like, I'm in trouble. Like I just did the sandbag workout next. And I was like, I can tell I'm flat. I just don't have any pace and there's nothing I can do about it. And that's a bad feeling. Especially when you've got 2 more days to compete. And I'm not someone who pulls out of competition for like something that's trivial. I took my medicine. Like I'm going to go, I'm going to do the events and I'm going to do them as good as I can. And like I said, like I competed with everything I had that weekend and that's just what I had. I was not prepared for that competition. And I didn't prepare for competition. I prepared for like knee health. And then I did get my knee to a better place that got me able to train a bit after that. But like, that was a tough kick in the teeth. But then after that, I was actually able to do some things differently. And we did change a bit of my training schedule. I kind of stopped I basically do 4 hard, like more CrossFit-y days a week. And then I do like 2 aerobic days a week now that are low impact. Like wouldn't do any high intensity stuff or any heavy squatting. It's like two days of one's either a swim and then the other one's like a bike run or like erg, an hour to 90 minutes of like zone 2, 3. And I think that's just been good for me to be able to just recover, like support my body health a little bit better. That has allowed my like stuff like my knee, my shoulder to not act up as much and keep it under control. So to be honest, we made that decision after Indy, and then Mesa was like the first test drive of that. So we were not really sure how that was going to feel. The change in volume is reasonably significant. We try to manage it as much as we can, but we were like actually not super sure how it was going to go. So it went well, like I think as well as you could have hoped for a test drive. So that was nice. And then I felt fine after that. And, SoCal was also good. It's also a bit lower volume at SoCal because you don't do everything. So it has worked well so far, and we'll see. I mean, those are shorter competitions. Rogue is more events. It's a little more volume. It's pretty high impact. So I still don't know. Like I think we're still kind of figuring out what that means. And I think that that's just part of getting a little bit older. Like I don't think I can go back to doing way more. I've got a lot of training reps under my belt. So I think I'm maybe past the stage where I need to build a certain base. Like my base is decent. I need to make sure I sharpen certain tools before competition, and I accumulate volume for the things we expect we might get. But, competition volume is competition volume, and I don't get to scale it. So there is a version of this where if I do bigger competitions like Rogue or like if I do the games next year, that might be significant and I might be hanging on by a thread by the last day. But I think, again, you just have to kind of go in with what you have and be, I think at this point in my career, I have to train for longevity a bit in the sense that like I need to keep myself moving week over week. Trying to just be like, hey, I'm going to hammer it for 2 weeks and then I have to take a week off. It's not beneficial for me at all. So it's more of just like, how do I stack good weeks of like good training volume without setbacks? And if I can do that, like I'm pretty good. I'm still pretty good. If I'm healthy, I'm pretty competitive. I just need to make sure that I can stay healthy. So, which is, it's not the simplest thing to do these days. So I got to be a bit careful. But yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing. I think we changed a little bit of our volume approach. And then I think, Indy was just like, to be honest, I think I probably just disrespected it a little bit where I was like, we're trying to maximize this recovery window. And then when it came time to be like, how many weeks of competition prep do you need? And I was like, I don't know, not that much. And then we were trying to maximize the recovery thing. And it turns out like you need more than not that much. So
Yeah.
everybody's really good, and you don't get away with much out there anymore. So if you're a little bit flat, and the other thing was, I think what I realized there, what I kind of used as an excuse was everybody else that was competing in the game season had online semis like the weekend before, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, oh, like people are going to compete the weekend before. Like they might be a little bit, their heads might not be right. And so, maybe I can get away with a little bit. And it actually was totally the opposite. Because what that meant actually that everybody was
primed.
Like people were like mid-season form, and I was in like preseason form. So like little mistakes, little things, like everybody was like dialed. And I realized that really fast. I'm like, oh, everybody is sharp as hell. Like this is all right. Gonna be a long weekend for your boy. But anyway, like I said, it's not. This is funny. I mean, flash forward to Mesa. I was talking a bunch with Dallin because he was a bit in the dumps after his first day performance there, which he then turned around like crazy. But leading up to that, we were talking a bit about the weekend, and he knew his day one wasn't going to be good. And I said something like, "Well, I hope you're in heat one after day one," and mostly because I was like, I want to see you just crush everybody on that bike workout by like a minute. and then he just said like, "Oh, I really hope that that there's no chance of that," or something like that. And I just said, "Man, Dallin, there's always a chance." Oh, he said, "I hope event one's not a possibility." And I said, "It's always a possibility." Mm-hmm. And like, it's true. Like, and that was what my reality was in India. I'm like, man, people are good. Like they're not there standing around waiting for you to pass them. Like people are pushing. And if you're not great, or you're not up to par on something, or you had a bad prep, or you got a bum leg, like people will walk right over your body. And that's just the way it works. So, you got to be a shark. And it's like, hey, then like in Mesa, he was in event, or he won after day one. And then he was an absolute shark for the rest of the weekend. And it was awesome. It's like, you can't let it deflate you or like beat you up, or don't beat yourself up over it. Like, doesn't mean you're a bad guy. It just means fucking fix it. Show up the next time and be better.
And I feel like, and this is maybe a glass half full scenario, but once you do maybe start that comeback and you get a little bit of a wind in your sail, I don't know, there's a different energy around it versus someone who's just kind of like hanging up there. Maybe you're in 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th, something like that, trying to push up into the podium. There was a different, more palpable energy from Dallin. I would even say from you in those final few events, when it felt like you were completing something of a comeback that had adversity on the front end. And I want to couple that with the fact, like after the event, we were chatting on the floor. I think you and I were chatting over a piece of pizza. And I got a sense, I don't know, I don't want to say it was relief, but maybe it was that. Maybe it was a different type of relief at the event where it seemed like, all right, okay, yeah, I still got this a little bit. And like, I'm on the right track. Was that correct in my assessment of that? Or was there a sense of relief afterwards? For
sure. I think it's like, look, you can know who you are, but it's really nice to get a good reminder every now and then. It's like, it's fun. I like to have these conversations with Dallin, and I was like, the part of the things that I've been good at in my career with like all the comeback stuff and all this stuff is like, I can get a bad hit and I don't let it convince me I'm someone other than who I think I am. So when I show up to the next one, I'm still going to take the swing because I'm like, nah, I'm pretty good at looking behind and being like, that was a fluke. Or like, that was the outlier. And like this next one's going to be awesome. Just watch. And so like, you kind of have to have that attitude in a lot of sport, like short memories, right? Like just be like, hey, I'm not defined by my most recent failure. And I'm also not defined by my most recent success. Like you have to be able to stay the course and just know who you are and keep pushing. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm also at a point in my career where like decline is inevitable. Like that's also the progression of sport. I see the young guys competing and they're insane. And like, I do my best to try to stay in that conversation, but like Father Time is undefeated. And I know that, like, I know I'm not going to be here forever, but like I have for the last 3 to 5 years been joking with guys in the back that I'm like, hey, look, like, I know you guys are going to beat me, but I'm not going to make it easy. Like my whole job here is to gatekeep the hell out of you. And like when you beat me, you're gonna deserve it, and like it's gonna be hard. And then those guys who beat me are gonna be really good, and they are, and that's fine. Like I'm totally okay with that. But that's the thing. Is like I do know that I'm maybe riding a plateau here where it's like you've got one toe off the edge of the cliff here, and so when something like Indy happens, it's hard to not have that creep into your head that you're like, shit, was that it? Like, was that last one my last good one and I didn't even realize it? And then you're like, you show up again and you go, oh, okay. No, it's okay. Don't hit the panic button just yet. Like I'm still good. I'm still whatever. And I don't know. I think that that's also to some degree been like what my personal narrative has been for the last couple of years that motivates me in training is like, I hear that and I know that, and people are like, yeah, oh, like, I'm getting old, or, I'm master's age now. And I think it's funny, and I'll joke about it, but I decide when I'm done. Like you don't tell me that like you're too old. I'll tell myself when I'm too old. It's my decision, and I'm going to like keep the pedal to the floor until I decide I don't want to anymore. And like, there will be a day where I feel like I get on the Echo bike and then I just get off. And I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. No
Never
more
again. Burn it.
But
So
I'm
day
not
for
there
us.
yet. Yeah, but I'm not there yet. And I think that I still feel like when I go compete and when things go well, I feel great. And when things don't go well, I feel pissed off. And like, I think that hunger is what makes you like know that you're not done, or you're not like finished with whatever that is that motivates you, and you still have a bit of fire and a bit of hunger. So I like that. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Look, for all the pundits that are like, yeah, he's washed up, and I'm like, we'll see. I'm happy to keep people going. I love every time I got to see somebody be like, fuck, maybe Vellner's still really good. And I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So have you and Father Time had a serious conversation of when you're going to hang up the hat, or is it totally based on feel?
No, I've got a timeline in my head that I know. I will share it when it's appropriate, I guess. I feel like I don't want to, I'm not looking to be given exclusives, but I know when I'll be done, and it's not far away. But that's kind of what's also nice, is I think it gives me, I think when you decide on a finish line, it's a little bit easier to be motivated, because it is hard. And I think that if I was looking out into the abyss, like just into a void of like infinite punishment, I'd probably be like, oh man, I don't know how much longer this I can take. But when you have a finish line, and when you start to do things, I think for the last time too, it's easier to keep doing it and be like, okay, I'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And this is the last time I have to go through this one and the next one and whatever. And I don't know, I've been trying to appreciate them more the last couple of years, but that's also hard for me to do. Like I'm not good at that. Like I think that once I'm competing and focused and whatever, I'm just not good at it. Like I don't take the time to appreciate it, because I'm just too task oriented and too goal oriented. And I just like everything else blurs out, which is not great, but hopefully I will start to be able to do that. But I don't know. I think that there's danger a little bit in that to me, because I think that it can cause your performance to slip. And that's also not how I want to finish competing either, is by like just skipping down the lane and smelling the flowers and not performing well. So,
Can we at least get a little bit more of a retirement? We won't call it a retirement tour or a retirement performance circuit than we got from Brent. Brent was like out and like, what? And
there was no heads up.
he laid some hints. I think there were a couple of hints. There was a couple of things that made me think, that's the look of someone who's maybe done. But can we at least have like a going out podium or something like that, or we're aware of it ahead of time?
I'll probably give some notice, but I don't know. There's something to what Brent did. I think that was kind of cool, and also just the way he competed in his last event was exceptional.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll never forget that last competition with him, because he was so fucking funny, and it bothered me because he was doing super well. I'm always competitive with Brent, but I wasn't that weekend really. I think I was in like 7th or something like that. Like I didn't have the best weekend, but He was great. And every time the Rogue that year, they had individual locker rooms in the upstairs of the venue, and you were like 5 to a room. And I think our room was like me, Brent, Jeff, Justin, and Sam Quant. I think Sam was never there though. I don't think. I feel like it was the 4 of us were there lots. But every time you finish a workout, you like come upstairs, you got your food up there, your bag, you just like drop your stuff, sit on the couch, and Brent walks in and he goes, "Oh, boys, hell of a way to finish my thruster career, huh?" And you're just like, "Oh." And it was like every event that he was great all through the weekend. It'd be like he just took third or something in a thruster workout. He's like, "Man, hell of a way to do that. Like, never have to do thrusters again." Suckers are like, "Oh, God."
That's awesome.
So he just beat you and then comes in and is like, "Not only did I beat you, but I never have to do that again." Anyways, see you later.
Oh,
like, "Oh,
that's
fuck."
fantastic.
So, and I swear every workout, like, "Oh man, great way to finish off the Echo bike." You're like, dude. It's hilarious. As only Brent can do. It was very funny.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll try to give you a little more than that, but not yet.
Yeah, but I mean, and we do have Rogue in the near view. I mean, how's prep for that? What's, you obviously got some good feedback from the course that you're on through WFP, through TYR, kind of a quick turnaround, maybe, I guess, from competition effort to competition effort. It feels like your back half of the year has kind of ramped up very quickly. Are you feeling like you're in a good spot? I mean, what's the training look like right now?
I think I gotta gain 5 pounds or so.
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
I know a few ways you could do that real
Some
quick.
poutine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta figure something out. Everybody's been telling me I'm so lean the last few days. After SoCal, that's all I heard for like a week. And I gotta fix that because Rogue's sure not gonna be a competition where you want to be too lean, I don't think.
No,
it never is.
There.
So I feel like that was bad news for me.
Yeah. What are those baked goods you guys have up there? Beaver tails, or what are those things that you can
It's gonna
hammer
be
a few of
winter.
those?
I'll start to get my winter coat on here soon, but
Yeah.
So I mean, I got to probably prioritize some strength work a little more than I have been for the next little bit. And I think we expect to see a lot of the same stuff at Rogue or similar things. I think they usually, for the last 3 years, we've had log muscle ups, heavy back squats for reps. Their handstand push-up complex they introduced last year. Like, there's things like that you can kind of do a bit more of, do some odd object strongman stuff. So I see a lot of odd objects in my future and a lot of heavy lifting. So that's what I mean. Like, we'll see. Prep for WFP was like a little bit simpler and like leaner, where I could do lower impact stuff. Prep for Rogue, like, I think there's no way to make it low impact. It just is. It's high impact. Like, you're running under load, like ruck bags. Like, it's heavy. Everything is heavy. So I've got to be a little bit careful on that. But you got to do it. Like, you can't not do it, or else I'm going to be like I was in Indy. So I got to figure that out. It's going to be a tough prep, I think, but I'm feeling healthy right now. So that's good. I got to make sure I don't get crushed by Ethan, get sick for the next 2 weeks. If I can stay healthy for the next 2 weeks, I'll be all right. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think people are super fit right now. We'll see how tired people are. I got to be honest. I think I expected people to look more tired over the course of the year than they have been. And that's what I said in the beginning about how momentum can make you feel good. But guys like James doesn't look tired at all. You know what I mean? No. James looks good. James looks happy, right? In Mesa, Rowan didn't look very tired to me. A couple guys nursing little injuries from the games and stuff, sure, but people still look menacing out there. So the men's field is pretty wild, and I think it's going to be a fun show in Aberdeen, and then again in Copenhagen. I think that we're going to see some interesting new stuff out there too. So that'll be cool. I mean, the back half of the year is going to be fun. It's going to be intense one way or another. Hopefully it's fun for me. It's always fun when it's going well, but try to just, I don't know. I'll try to just perform. I feel like that was my attitude in Mesa was like, I had a good idea what my capacity was in those workouts because we got them announced a bit early. And I was just like, just no whammies, man. Like go in there, just no mistakes. Don't do anything stupid. Just be clean. And that was like what I did. I didn't do anything super risky. I just did like straight down the middle, which is fine. And it worked great. So now that I got my feet back under me a little bit, maybe I'll be happier to take a couple risks, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I think I speak for a lot of us when we say we look forward to seeing you on the competition floor, and we're excited for what the rest of the year holds. And I have no doubt that it's going to maybe have some ups and downs, but it's going to be exciting regardless because you always put on a show. And Lauren, unless you got anything else, I think we'll let Pat get back to dadding right now because I'm impressed that if he's still napping, if Ethan's still napping, then.
Yeah, he is, and I probably should get him up so he sleeps tonight.
Ooh, yeah, nap capping. I know what that's like.
It's the thing though, like he's sick, so I'm like, don't wake a sleeping baby, right? I'm like, how many hours can I let him get before I'm being irresponsible here?
I agree with you. I'm right there with you. We've had a couple of those hard conversations around our son as well. So, but either way, man, we always appreciate chatting with you. Always grateful for the efforts that you put on the competition floor that make the sport what it is for sure. So best of luck at Rogue. Hopefully we can catch up with you before the WFP finals, and maybe there's another podium under your belt after that when it happens.
Hope so. Like to get one every year for a decade or something like that.
Ooh, I like the way that sounds.
I like that. Well, I like that.
Are you guys going to be in Aberdeen?
I will not be. It's my right around my son's first birthday, so I got to be home for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Possibly. I'll make a decision by the end of the week.
No, you got to be home for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest downer. I got to miss the kids' Halloween, and that.
That's
little kids' Halloween is awesome.
Yeah,
my son's going to be an Ankylosaurus.
Adorable,
and it's going to be rad. It's his favorite dinosaur.
Well, so. I look forward to hopefully seeing something about that maybe on social media highlighting his favorite dinosaur.
I'm sure we'll have a fashion show of some kind. I'm sure.
Oh man, that's great. Right. Well, Pat, thanks as always, brother. Good to talk to you, and see you down the line.
See you guys.
Big thanks to good old Pat Vellner for stopping by. Always a pleasure to talk to him. Can't wait to see him on the competition floor at the Rogue Invitational. Really appreciate it. Like that's a guy that you just got to ask maybe 2 questions and say goodbye to your 45 minutes.
I love it. He's if you have his timing's good to where like, a follow-up pops up in my head and then he answers it right away. So
he's experienced.
Got the mind melt.
Guy knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Takes you on a journey.
He does. It's
love
it's
listening
like Ron
to him.
Burgundy. Okay, before we get to PRs and no reps, we have some community support that we want to get to. So, Tommy.
We do. Our friends and community members at CrossFit 605, they're holding a memorial workout for one of their members of the community, Ben, who unexpectedly passed away. He was a friend, a bright light, and a part of the heartbeat of the community. And to honor his life, they've created a memorial workout in his name. So in addition to doing the workout, which if you go to CrossFit 605's Instagram handle, it's CrossFit _ 605. You can click on the link in their bio and you can access to sign up for the workout as well. You can support the family. Donations will be made through the link in their bio via Venmo, and all funds will be turned directly over to his wife and 3 children. They're also doing a hoodie to honor him as well. They're doing pre-orders, which run right now. So October 8th, started yesterday, the 7th through the 11th. That is also on the link tree in their bio. So if you want to support, buy a hoodie, sign up for the workout, everything goes through at CrossFit _ 605 on Instagram. And they have actually created a couple different options for the workout. So if you want to do it at home, send some love CrossFit 605's way, some messages, comment on the post. I know they appreciate all of it and show some support for Ben and his family. Option 1 is a buy-in of a 1,991 meter row, bike, ski, or run. Then 9 rounds of 11 power cleans at 135, 11 toes to bar, 11 burpees. And then when you're done with those 9 rounds, you're going to cash out with a 400-meter run. They're asking for a moment of silence at the 29-minute mark as well. Option 2 is the same buy-in for run, row, ski, or bike. Then you can do 9 rounds of still 11 power cleans, 11 toes to bar, but 11 double unders, and you can scale to 33 singles. So I think that's a mixture of all of his favorite movements and still cash out 400-meter run with an object. So 2 different ways to honor and support Ben. Our heart goes out to the crew at CrossFit 605, and it's tough to lose a beloved member of your community, and rally around and support if you can.
Mm-hmm.
That was heartbreaking to hear about it. And if you guys want to go here, let me call it up here. Let's see if I got it on screen. This is the workout right here. It took me a second to find it, but it's if you want to, if you're just listening to this, it's CrossFit_605. Option 1, as Tommy went through on your screen. And then there's option 2 as well. So CrossFit_605, help them out. Great people. And let's try to get that family the help that they need. Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving on. PRs and no reps. Anybody got a good no rep they want to start with?
Ooh, I just had one.
You got one, Lauren?
I have one.
Hit me.
I do. My no rep is not asking enough questions when you commit to something.
This
so
this sus.
This has never bit me in the butt before. I've gone 33 years of my life unscathed by not asking enough questions before committing to something. And this is the first time that I really let myself down. I was told in Poland we were going on a hike. I was told basically only 2 things: bring hiking shoes. I don't know what that means, so I wore my rad runners and a lamp, a headlamp, and we're gonna go on a hike overnight and be at the peak during the sunrise. And this was not a hike. This was mountaineering. And I didn't realize it was mountaineering until we were like 4 to 5 hours into the 10-hour hike. And it was like 3 a.m. And I'm scaling a mountain, hysterically crying, trying to figure out how to like turn the little thing and clip it in and then unturn it and re-clip it. So...
Yeah, you probably should have gotten more information about that whole endeavor before you embarked on that journey. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it back safely.
I don't know why, but I just pictured you like, I don't know, like on the face of Half Dome, like or in the face of like El Capitan, like in Free Solo. Yeah. It's just Lauren just holding onto the rock, just.
Tommy, you've really seen me cry before, and it was the where your whole body is shaking.
Oh no!
And there's nothing that calms you down.
Oh,
that was me for like 5 hours on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being the other people that were ready for that hike? And they're just like, what's this girl's deal?
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know if we need any more no reps after that. I don't know. Hey, do you want to follow that up with a no rep, Tommy? Or
I've nothing compares to crying on the Polish mountaintop.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's go right to PRs. Maybe I should PR Lauren for crying on the Polish mountaintop.
And surviving.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'll start with a PR. I'll PR start a hockey season, baby. Hockey season's here. This is best time of year. We got baseball playoffs, NFL's going, and the hockey season has started. So now we're good.
Everything.
Good to go. Go Dodgers.
Yeah, I'll piggyback onto that sports PR because the last couple of weekends have just been sports firing on all cylinders. But
yes.
I do have a 2-person PR to the, we'll call them the artists formerly known as Raf Durand and Allison Scudds, who recently got married and had a very cool twist if you follow them along. So both of them changed their last name.
Oh,
Oh,
So
wait, I
they're
didn't
not-
see this post.
Yeah, oh yeah, super cool. So I'll read this here. So
Yeah.
it said, Mr. and Mrs. Catalano. Surprise, we both decided to change our last names to Catalano. Raf grew up with his mom's side of the family, the Catalanos. This was the perfect opportunity for us to embrace our families while acknowledging a new beginning on our own. Also, cat, because there's a photo of a cat. But I've never heard of that, and I thought it was interesting, kind of a unique way for them both to make a change like that and start something new. I don't know. It kind of caught me off guard, and I realized I hadn't heard of that before. So, congrats to them, both wonderful humans. Yep. So
that's great. That's
Yeah.
good PR.
That's really cool.
You got PR, Lauren?
Yes. What was it? Oh.
Oh, wait, let me think. I'm gonna guess this in my head. And I'm gonna tell you if I'm right. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Can you guess it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll be honest. Go ahead.
Taylor Swift.
I knew it.
keeps dropping.
I knew it. That was the one. That was it.
You knew. When you said you knew, I was like, oh, Sean's an earworm. He's living in my brain right now.
I knew it. Oh,
Taylor
man.
Swift dropping her new album. It's a little risque.
Didn't she
but
put one out
It
like
is
3 weeks ago?
It's got
3
some-
weeks ago? No, it was last Friday.
It was
No,
last
but the one
Friday.
before that, wasn't it like they didn't?
Oh,
yeah,
pretty much.
It was like pretty recent.
How?
Like less than a year
Oh
ago.
my God.
It streamed it got 250 million streams in the first day.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
It is definitely
Hey,
risque.
Is it risque?
Yeah, there's some.
Look up the lyrics of Wood.
You know what? I don't need to after hearing the title of that song. You know what soundtrack I've been assaulted with is the K-pop Demon Hunters one. Have you guys heard that one? No, you don't, because you don't have kids. Oh, well, Tommy does, but you don't have kids old enough to watch that movie. That is like now the new movie that is sweeping the everybody loves it. And the music, I'm like, all right, I can handle this. It's not terrible, but it has gotten stuck in my head because it is all now my son wants to listen to is K-pop Demon Hunters. So
Fun.
not a bad movie either. It's on Netflix. Check it out. You might like it. So that's been the soundtrack of my life right now.
A quick random aside. When do you feel like was the first time your son, when he recognized music?
It's pretty early.
good question.
It was pretty early. He, I don't know. It was before he was young because we got him one of those Tony boxes, that play the stuff. So he was listening to music from a pretty young age. And when he was like 2 weeks old, it was right when COVID started. So there was, Dropkick Murphys had like an online St. Patty's Day concerts. He was like 3 weeks old.
I remember
I made him
that.
sit there and watch that with me. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, he was pretty young. I'd say a year and a half, maybe a year.
Because there's now a song. We have a whole playlist for our boy, but there is a song that if he's ever fussy in the car, if I put it on, he like folds his hands and looks out the window just calmly.
There you go.
Like it's if anyone is curious and they want to try it with their kids, it's called The Deep by Lane 8 and Art School Girlfriend. It's a deep house track. It has beautiful melodic vocals, and Miles, he'll be coming unglued a little bit in the back because he's like, I'm ready to be out, or I just, crap my pants. And I put it on and he goes, thank you, Father.
All right.
Oh
my God. Much appreciated. And just looks out.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. We just kind of like pieced that together that every time that song comes on he just like calms down. So,
yeah. Well, good. All right. Well, that's a good end to that, to a good show. Thanks again to Pat Vellner for stopping by. Thanks to Thirdzy for sponsoring us. Thirdzy.com. The code is TEF. And thanks to you for listening and for watching. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking